All three major music labels, they're all suing Suno and Udio. AI music creation platforms have been top of mind, top of conversation, including on this channel. And we dove in regards to Udio's terms of service, because as you know, I love to look at the contracts that you guys sign, okay? When you use these platforms, you sign the terms of service by saying, I agree when you sign up, right? So we did a deep dive. And the question was, do you own the music that you make on these music platforms? And the answer, just so you don't have to go and watch that whole video, please do if you want to, but the answer is you get a license. You input some instruction, output comes your, wonderful creation. And if you want to release it, if you want to exploit it commercially, they're okay with that, right? And so we were just looking at, well, there's the issue of ownership, right? So that means you get to use it on a limited license kind of basis, but you don't actually own it. Well, the second piece had to do with copyright. And it's, under copyright law, copyright ownership, right, is in regards to human-made stuff. Copyright does not carry with AI. So that's basically what we talked about. And we're like, these platforms are really doing their thing. We knew that Suno came about in December of 2023. Kind of exploded on the market. Udio then came on about April of this year, and we have huge investors. will.i.am, Common. So we have so much interest and use to the extent that we know that Udio is generating over 800,000 tracks, clips, whatever you want to call them, every single day. So there's an unbelievable amount of output content that is not only being created, but then put on music platforms. So we had lots of conversation about, what this looks like. We have an update. And the update is that all three major music labels, Universal, Sony, Warner, and their imprints, some subsidiaries, they are all suing Suno and Udio. And this is for copyright infringement. This is definitely the biggest lawsuit, and this is the biggest thing that is happening in regards to AI music platforms. And, kind of leading up to this, after reviewing the terms of service, we were just kind of looking at, some of the problems that different users were identifying. And they're like, this is weird. When I input certain instructions and I give it like the same lyrics to, Mariah Carey's Christmas song for this and for that, it is creating what we can best describe as like a cover song with the same melodies and the same kind of general vibe, if you want to call it that. And we go, that's interesting. Is that a glitch? Is that copyright infringement? And then, of course, the question of, well, what are these platforms using, right? So if Udio, who, has been our bigger focus on this channel, if Udio's like, we can generate every genre, we can create professional quality music. You can, not we. You can. Well, the question was, well, where are you learning? Where's your learning all of that? Is it going through Spotify and scrubbing through and making copies and then regurgitating? Help us to understand. With kind of that pre-roll leading up to it, that's where we're at today. So what I'm going to do is I have the actual complaints. We're going to go through and we're going to see what the labels are suing for. And, what they're saying, and this is with the support of the Recording Industry Association of America, they're saying, quote, that this is willful copyright infringement at an almost unimaginable scale. And we go back to if they're making over 800,000, people are making over 800,000 tracks just on Udio alone. Yeah, if what they're saying is true. What's been interesting over the course of so many months of covering this is our community has been helpful for giving feedback on just, you musicians, you artists, you music producers, right? Out the gate, I think people were pretty apprehensive to AI generated music. It's not real music. You're not a real artist. I'm never going to use it. And then I think over so many months, people became very willing to use it. It's part of my art creation process, and the tone, I think, in the acceptance of it definitely changed. So the question is, Suno and Udio, are you guys using your platform to have the AI go and train from real human-made music? And if you are, right, what are you going to say to that? Is it copyright infringement? So Suno CEO Mikey Schulman, he stated that Suno does not memorize and regurgitate pre-existing content. And we care. I mean, what are these platforms saying? Because we're going to go through and see, what does the complaint say? What they're saying is that AI generating music platforms are imitating real music. This is really important. They're not just saying that you're going and listening to the songs to get inspired, because a lot of people are making that one-to-one comparison. Artists go all the time and they'll go and listen to Michael Jackson. We'll go and listen, we'll get inspiration. It doesn't mean that we're stealing anything. It's not necessarily copyright infringement. So that's what these AI platforms have essentially been arguing. They're like, we are not copying anything. We're just going and learning and getting inspired. And then what is created when you go and use Udio is something totally new. What are the music platforms saying? And what was disclosed in this complaint was that in pre-litigation letters, because as you guys know, I'm a real lawyer, I litigate. So before we actually file a lawsuit, usually there's lots of heated letters that go back and forth. We're claiming this, we're going to sue you if you don't do X, Y, and Z. So in these letters, what the labels are saying is that Udio and Suno came back and they go, we are fine because this is fair use. And the idea with fair use is that you can use copyrighted content that other people own without permission. But the problem that we're going to talk about is that it's usually for a list of reasons, which might be academic purposes, it's for a journalistic purpose, it's for a parody. So take this channel, for example. I've reacted to music videos on the channel, literally from like beginning to end. And I stop it in between and I give you feedback about the legality of things that I am seeing, what it's like in the music business, and I just give you some commentary. And the reason why I can do that is because under fair use, I am teaching you something. I am using the copyrighted content and I am transforming it into something new. This is essentially what they're claiming, what, was said in these letters back from Suno and Udio. And so the labels are like, this is not fair use. You're